and spent a lifetime as a diplomat and ambassador in the Arab world. His son challenged to a fistfight anybody who spoke against his father's nomination. I'm right here, buddy. Mr. Obama doubled down with his craziness by giving the Medal of Freedom to Mary Robinson, the radical leftist who worked at the UN against America's allies. Anybody know the name Charles Bolden, head of NASA, who told Al Jazeera that his foremost task under President Obama is to find a way to reach out to the Muslim world and engage much more with it, to help them feel good about their historic contribution to science, math, and engineering. Thus, NASA's primary mission is no longer to enhance American science or engineering or to explore space and discovery or, the defense of the United States, but to boost the self-esteem of predominantly Muslim nations. John Brennan is the counterterrorism czar. He's been an embarrassment. Just one small, less important but interesting example. Most Americans don't read Arabic. Our Bibles and our Judeo-Christian history predate Islam by a little bit. We call the capital of Israel Jerusalem. Mr. Brennan calls it Al-Quds. Do they have any clue what they sound like to the American people? Any clue at all? How about a man named Posner? He's the one who brought up the Arizona immigration law to the Chinese, but ignores the slaughter of minorities in China. It's fairly clear that the two leftist East Coast appointments by Mr. Obama to the Supreme Court have no experience in national security, no relationship with our nation's warriors or military, no sympathy for border security, or what Californians or Nevadans or Arizonans or New Mexicans might think about the border. No sense of wartime obligations of an executive during wartime, even if he believed in it himself. Even the New Republic, a Democrat organ, featured an article that the administration policy on Iran is an unmitigated disaster. The engagement policy, right? Engagement. 2 years running. Nice videos of happy National Day, Iran, in the springtime. Engagement, engagement, engagement. What have we gotten? The sanctions came way too little, way too late. Iran repeatedly admits on their own government websites and their own military statements that they have the delivery systems and they are arming themselves with WMD. A big F for Obama on Iran. On Homeland Security, a stunning strategy. After the Christmas Day underwear bomber made it onto a plane and tried to blow it up over Detroit, the Homeland Security Secretary, Janet Napolitano, said, quote, "The system worked just fine." On Gitmo, Mr. Obama said he would close it and then had no idea what to do or how to do and tried to pay off tiny island nations to take the international terrorist suspects. On interrogations, Mr. Obama's party actually promised and proposed criminal penalties for those who question the worst of the worst. Mr. Obama released information and photos about sources and methods. He tries to destroy the confidence and risk-taking and honor of those who work without fanfare or glory to keep us safe. He made a big stink, didn't he, about waterboarding. You know who we waterboarded? 3 people. Al-Nashiri, the man who led the attack on the USS Cole in Yemen. They still haven't tried him, by the way. And I forgot the name of the second gentleman who led us to the third, Khalid Sheikh Mohammed. Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, that's an interesting name. The man who personally beheaded my high school friend Daniel Pearl. And the one who led the planning for 9/11. Obama decided to make a big stink in this country about how bad we were for waterboarding. By the way, the waterboarding led to the plans regarding the Brooklyn Bridge. They were going to cut the cables and destroy the Brooklyn Bridge. And the Library Tower in Southern California, the largest building on the West Coast. The mosque at Ground Zero, Shrine College Sheikh Mohammed in New York. I'm not exactly sure why the Obama crowd after 9/11 likes putting Islamists in New York. Maybe somebody can explain that to me. But more importantly, the issue of not naming our enemy. The purposeful strategy of this White House, and therefore the Defense Department and its doctrines, not to use the words jihad, Sharia law, caliphate, terrorism, radical Islam, Islamism. Instead, it's overseas contingency operations, right? For man-caused disasters. Number 7, arrogance and Alinskyism. Denigrating and delegitimizing all those who oppose his path. A bullying and a smearing. I have my own tiny Googleable record with this. After my debates with some Democrats, they decided to boycott me. They didn't like that I was pounding away. But more importantly, Obama goes after grandmas and grandpas in golf shirts who show up at town halls and conservative forums to dare to protest against socialist economics. And they're called easily racists. And doctors who disagree on health care are told they must seek to remove limbs for profits. Other targets have included those dangerous people from the Chamber of Commerce, or the repeated smearing of the conventioneers in Las Vegas. Of course, Fox News, but also returning vets, right, we were told were extremists. The Pennsylvania bitter people who cling to their guns and religion. The cop in Boston, remember? You want to know how this thing kicked into high gear? It was the Scott heard around the world. I'm friendly with the junior senator now from Massachusetts. Even Democrat union members in Beantown knew something was wrong when Obama went after the guy who at midnight was there defending the black gentleman's home. And the cop had spent a career building positive race relations and modeling it and teaching it. The American people get it. They went after the distinguished scientist of the EPA, who was called every mean name in the book. They went after the Inspector General, who uncovered the details about Obama crony Kevin Johnson. They went after Joe the Plumber and the voters of Arizona, and of course Republicans and Tea Partiers, and it just goes on and on. Remember the Supreme Court they went after? Remember when Obama, in front of the nation, humiliated the Supreme Court, which is mute and sitting there politely because they have no chance to rebut? So at least 2 or 3 Supreme Court justices have said, okay, that's it, we can never go again to a State of the Union. You're going to use this as a problem. Unbelievable. So it's come to this, my friends. You ready? The Second American Revolution against a ruling class that simply lectures but does not listen or defend the American people. It is government versus the people. Am I right? Yes. Look at the Electoral College example. Right? A leftist popular challenge to states' rights. You think the founders weren't brilliant people? Did they not know what they were doing by carefully calibrating to get the small states and the big states to come together? Why does Wyoming get 2 senators in California? Actually, I'd rather have Wyoming's 2 senators.